Because every video is someone's first, A Life Well Played is a channel dedicated to men's health and gaming. I want to facilitate a positive environment for us to get together and share our collective knowledge. This is how we get stronger. If you want to jump right into the men's section, check out our timestamp in the description below. Also, hit the like and subscribe as it only takes a second. Dragon's Dogma 2 is my most anticipated game of 2024, at least so far. There is no lack of hype in the gaming community for this game. You have no idea how happy I am that it is getting the attention it deserves. But in the same sense, this feels weird to me. Why is it getting so much attention and hype when the first game was no more than a cult classic? I'm not mad at it, but I am curious. I have done like a lot of you who are ready for this game and indulged in many videos as I prepare to get my hands on it on March 22nd. As I have watched many content creators speak about the game, the truth of why this game is in the position it is in starts to emerge. I want to take some time and talk about why Dragon's Dogma 2 is getting so much hype. Let's start with the obvious. Dragon's Dogma fans are here in full force and ready for the game that we all thought would never get made. The initial reception for Dragon's Dogma 1 from a sales and hype perspective was not all that great. But since 2012, the game has gained fans and it has been re-released for new hardwares, including the Nintendo Switch. So it's easy to see that the number of fans at launch has grown quite a bit. Next is a bit more complex as it has to do with success by proxy. When players see Dragon's Dogma 2 with its fantasy settings, open world, giant monsters, and talks of difficulty, what they're actually seeing is Elden Ring. As players, we tend to get excited when we see games that have a similarity to games that we already love. When Dragon's Dogma first arrived, there was no games that would incite this type of feeling. Skyrim was all the rage during this time, and Dragon's Dogma had very little connecting itself with Skyrim outside of its setting and dragons. I'm going to come back to this point, so just put a pin in it for now. Something I noticed happening, and if you're a Dragon's Dogma fan like me, it would have or does seem really strange to you. I've heard a number of content creators state that they did not like or couldn't get into Dragon's Dogma 1, but they are loving Dragon's Dogma 2 during the preview events. IGN's Destin Legary was one of these content creators. So what's so strange about this? Well, if you've never played Dragon's Dogma 1 and you want to know what 2's going to be like, all fans say it with me. Go play the first one and you will know exactly what 2's going to be like. Like most sequels, there are improved graphics and some upgraded attributes, but by and large, this is Dragon's Dogma. The way combat is enacted, the way you move, the enemies, how the world reacts to you, how you react to the world. The art style and the pawn system are all the same. If you didn't like Dragon's Dogma 1 or it didn't click with you, chances are you're not gonna really like this one. But as we have seen, the hype is real, and people who either didn't like the first or never gave it a shot over the years are all here and ready to enjoy the game. Remember when I said we will put a pin in the Elden Ring conversation? Let's pick it back up, shall we? Gamers tend to have a hive mind when it comes to games. I'm not saying this in a negative way, I'm just speaking facts. If a game is popular and is garnering a lot of attention, the likelihood that people who would have otherwise never given it a look are going to give the game a shot is rather high. On the other hand, this is good for the franchise, as the same effect happened when Elden Ring itself gained popularity. Many people who would have never given a Souls game a real shot became part of the Souls clan. So I do believe that once the game hits, we will have a flood of players retroactively playing the original and seeing that it was an incredible game as well. On the flip side of this, I'm worried that some players don't really know what they are getting themselves into. It doesn't really matter if Dragon's Dogma 2 gives you Elden Ring vibes, this is nothing like Elden Ring. As a matter of fact, there is no game on the market that's anything like Dragon's Dogma. As a player, if you approach Dragon's Dogma 2 like you would any other action RPG, you are not going to have a good time. This game is about you and your team of pawns, and they are just as important as your main character. Trying to kill the game's toughest enemies with no pawns, no clothes, with a level 1 sword and shield will end with you in a ditch. This is not a dodge roll and parry game. This game requires you to prepare for battle and each enemy differently. You must put as much care into your team as you do your main character. You must learn your enemy's movements, patterns, and position yourself and your equipment to handle what they will dish out. looking for environmental ways to dispatch your foes while not being caught up yourself. This will feel, for a lot of players, foreign, as so many action RPGs today is focused on a single character with the ability to beat the game by mastering their dodge and parry systems. You will not find that here. Today's men's section, I want to talk about the importance of having an outlet. This is a difficult topic even for me to discuss because of the nature of the subject. Not all, but most men find it hard to express ourselves and to talk about things any deeper than surface level. The reasons vary, but let me go over why this is for those of you that don't understand why your friends won't open up, or if you're a woman and your guy is so tight-lipped. As a whole, it is difficult to be strong and vulnerable at the same time, especially with a lot of people. This has always been the case for men, but even more so now. We live in an age where information flows rapid, and secrets are just another means of getting attention. On social media, you can see videos after videos of people's lives being exposed for the sake of clicks. Nobody enjoys this, but especially men, because we value our privacy. I don't engage with social media for that very reason. I have an upcoming video dedicated to men and social media in the near future. There is nothing worse than to share your innermost thoughts with that special someone just to have them use that very information against you during a disagreement. This is something that men have all experienced, and more than likely the reason why you don't share much now. With all that understood, it is very important that we have someone in our lives we can talk to. We spoke about having our alone time and time to decompress in a previous video. That is also very important to our health, but even that can't do it all. At some point, we will need to be able to talk to another human and share our thoughts. We tend to push things deep down so we can keep going and be productive. Well, what happens is, at some point, that bottle we are filling up does just that, fill up. And when it does, one of two things happen. Either it begins to slowly leak out and people around us, coworkers, friends, family, begin to see a side of us that we thought that we were hiding. And it won't come across in a healthy way, I can promise you that. Or, secondly, the bottle just explodes, and in turn, we explode on the next person or group that is closest to us when it happens, which is just bad, if not worse. We as men are taught at a young age to suck it up, don't cry, don't show emotions, don't show fear. Well, we tend to hold on to these teachings. I'm here to tell you that we can still be strong, still be leaders, and the men that we want to be, but much more healthy, or in a much more healthy manner. It can be a close friend who has proven themselves to be loyal, a trusted therapist, or a wife. No matter who you choose, just make sure that you choose someone to allow you to express yourself. If you're not at your best, there is no way the people around you can trust you to lead them to be their best. Remember, you are the hero of your own game. Make the most of it.